Welcome, welcome. If you can see me, press one. And if you can hear me, press two. Make sure everything is everything. Make sure everything is top shelf or nothing. Wherever you are, I hope you're good. I hope you are being appreciated and never, ever tolerated. But if you can hear me, press one. And if you can see me, press two. My name is Ken Billions. If you didn't know, it's an honor and a pleasure to come here and chop it up with you yet again in the spirit of personal development. This is a place where you come in ordinary and you leave extraordinary. So, welcome. Welcome to the number one home for personal development. This is heaven on earth. This is ministry for the abstract mind. And most importantly, this is a safe space for men, women, boys, and girls out there that have an out the box philosophy. Welcome. At heaven on earth, we do not believe that you have to die in order to get to heaven. All you got to do is be real, reflective, enlightened, accountable, and most importantly, limitless. It's very easy. Just be real, reflective, enlightened, accountable, and most importantly, limitless. I have a promise to you, no matter where you're at in your life, no matter what's going on with you, my promise to you is personal development is for everybody. Personal development is for everybody, and we all need it. Some of us need personal development in our finances. Some of us need personal development in our parenting. Some of us need personal development in our health. The beauty about personal development, it's not based on age, and it's not based on gender, and it's not based on class. Everybody can use personal development as a vehicle to make improvements in their life. So I hope and I suggest that you make personal development your religion is something that is very important to you and make it a priority. If you have babies, I want you to keep your babies very close. And if you have someone in your life that's loving on you, please let them, because this love thing, you know, this love thing is real difficult, right? To love people and allow them to love you back. It's very difficult because we're just ordinary people trying to figure everything out. I have an interesting conversation today, and I need your energy on landing this plane. Um, I like to let my microphone breathe. So I take breaks so I can think about some things and I can unpack some things and I can work through things, right? So this conversation that I'm going to bring to you today is a conversation that I had to unpack myself and I had to think about it and I had to work through it because I had to address some things in myself. Now, I'm sure if you're not under a rock, you've been hearing everything about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. And I'm like, right. So I've been thinking about it since last week. I had to ride in the car a bit, you know what I mean? Hit the vape a little bit. I had to think about what exactly am I looking at? And is this just basketball? Then I had to think about, well, if I talk about this, how can we make this personal development? Because that's what it's all about. So when I was growing up, I was trained and conditioned to see Black women as strong. I was born into it. That's all I heard. Black women are strong. Black women are strong. Black women are tough. And then I grew up in a lower class environment, so I didn't know anything else. Believe it or not, the conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, all these hoopers, I look at them as hoopers, right? But the conversation really has a lot to do with what exactly is femininity and the differences between Black women's femininity and white women's femininity. Again, I grew up conditioned only to hear that Black women are strong. Black women are the backbone of a community. That's a lot, right? That's a lot to handle. Even me as a dude, like to be the backbone of a large body of people. Well, damn, what happens when I want to go run? What happens when I need to take a chill pill? What happens when I need to fall back and get my bearings together? And a lot of times, Black women don't have that opportunity. Our conversation today is Caitlin Clark, media, mainstream media, and the protection of white femininity. No, it's a lot. Caitlin Clark, mainstream media, and the protection of white femininity. First, let me start here. To see people interested in women hooping, to me, I'm like, finally, right? Because for 40, for 30 years, I've been monitoring and been a fan of watching women hoop. My women hoops journey doesn't start with Caitlin Clark or Angela Reese. I've been watching women put it on the wood since Dawn Stanley, right? This Olympic team right here was the shit, right? I've been a huge fan of women's hoops. I watch women's hoops. So when people say, oh man, nobody was watching the W, I don't know who you're talking about, because I've been a huge fan of women's basketball for many moons. When Rebecca Lobo went to the Liberty, I was watching her UConn. Again, been a huge fan of women hoops. So the Caitlin Clark phenomena, the Angel Reese phenomena, I'm like, that's great. It's the casual person that is just learning this stuff, right? But most importantly, it's a lot of men that are being introduced to these people. But I've been watching these people damn near my entire life, because I already knew, I've been knew that women had hoops, right? I've been watching it for many, 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 many moons. Come on, man. Cheryl, my hoops journey doesn't start with Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese, right? A lot of times these women had children and it took them a while to get their bodies back together. But if a lot of these women never had babies, yo, you have no idea, right? Outside of dudes being super taller than a lot of these women will ball a lot of dudes up, straight up. Then, of course, you got Lisa, right? This person definitely is in my top 5, Shamiqua Holdsclaw. Shamiqua Holdsclaw had a post game. Shamiqua Holdsclaw had a fadeaway. You know what I'm saying? So when Candace Parker came to Tennessee, Shamiqua Holdsclaw had kind of laid out that position for her, in my opinion. Then you have, of course, Cheryl Miller. I didn't get to see Cheryl play, but I was a huge fan of Reggie, so it made me do the knowledge on Cheryl. Then you got Lynette Woodard. A lot of people don't even know who Lynette Woodard is, right? Lynette Woodard put up points on the board, but the problem is that I think the conference that Lynette Woodard was playing, they wasn't including her stats with regular NCAA stats, right? Neither did they include Pearl Moore's. Okay? But my all-time favorite player of all time was Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper was dominant. 4 rings? Soon as the W started, she was giving these girls the business, right? And then there was a kind of, when Cheryl came to the team, could they coexist? But Cynthia Cooper was my all-time favorite female player of all time. But I went so hard with women hoopers. I'm still trying to figure out this footage right here, right? So what I'm about to show you, there's a discrepancy of who this is. Is this Shannon Bobbitt or is this Crystal Bellinger, right? So this is how hard I go for women hoopers. Look at the footage. Watch this. So it's a discrepancy. Is this Shannon Bobbitt that played for Tennessee, or is this Christian Bellinger? Right? So what they're talking about with Caitlin and Angel, look at her handles. This old and one shit. Look at her mix. Boop. Watch. Watch what happens. Look at. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Hold on. Maybe you need to see that again. Her mix is crazy. So it always was, who is this? Is this Shannon Bobbitt? Shannon Bobbitt used to play for Tennessee. Or is this a girl named Crystal Bellinger? All right, one more time. Look at her mix. So all the people that are chiming in on the WNBA and women's basketball, these are casual people. And they really don't know how to take what they're looking at, right? But it has a lot of historical things attached to it. Look at her mix. Crazy. Whoop. Dropped them. Dropped them. No, I'm not faking, right? So when I'm seeing Caitlin get to do what she's doing, I'm like, cool, because I'm looking at it from a hoop perspective. But there's a lot of other things at play here. But not only was I a supporter of women's basketball, I've also been a supporter of women's rap. And in my opinion, this is not just for a woman. This is one of the greatest albums that ever was made. Hip hop. Not even just from a woman. This album right here goes so hard. Do you understand that Eve had to rap with Rough Riders? She had to rap with Dragon. She had to rap with DMX and the Locks. Eve was going hammer over Swiss Beats production. So not only did I support women's basketball, I supported women on the mic too, right? And this album right here is one of the greatest albums ever. I'm not even talking about women's album. I'm talking about, for real talk, this is one of the greatest rap albums that I've ever heard before. So when it comes to women doing shit, I've been a huge supporter my entire life. Not only did I support women's basketball, not only did I support women in rap, I also supported women's literature. I had this book when I was 20 years old. I didn't even know what the hell I was getting, honestly. I didn't know what Black feminism was. I didn't know what feminism was, right? But I was just super open-minded. But I had this book when I was 20. And I didn't even honestly know what I had in my hands. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know who Miss Bell was in the historical context and how important she was, you know, and I loaned this book out to one of my female partners, and I never got it back because I thought she could use it, right? But I didn't even know what I had in my hands, and I didn't even know that men wasn't fucking with this kind of stuff, right? When you grew up hip-hop, everybody's together. So I had no clue that men wasn't reading this. I didn't know that men didn't listen to women rappers. I didn't know that men didn't support women hoopers. I didn't know that, right? If you dope, you dope. But I didn't know that. So I just wanted to just walk you down of, also this. This is a classic. So not only did I support women in rap, I support women in literature. This book right here, I wish they made a movie of it. The Coldest Winter Ever. Like, man, the way that Sister Soldier created Midnight, like, interesting. She created the character Midnight, and I don't even think a lot of guys in there can create that kind of male character. But she did it flawlessly. The way he moved, everything, right? But I always thought this would have been a crazy film. And I thought that Lauren London should have played Winter. And I thought that the dude in Breaking Bad, Gustavo, whatever his name is, he should play her Pops, right? But again, I didn't know that there was like a real sector of guys that wasn't rocking with this. I thought she was a dope author, just like I thought Bell Hooks was a dope author, just like I thought Eve was a phenomenal rapper, and just like I thought those ladies that I showed you was phenomenal ball players. It ain't all about dunking. Like, they had skill sets. But even though I had the privilege of experiencing Black women specifically in those different spectrums, one of the experiences I never seen Black women go through was be saved by heroes in film. I never seen Black women be saved. I didn't even know there was a concept of that, right? So women being saved in film has everything to do with Western femininity, right? So I grew up thinking, conditioned, Black women are strong. So I never seen movies where Black women were not being that. So I thought it was regular. And there's nothing about being strong, but that's not all a person is, right? It's many layers. It's different seasons. We all wear different hats, right? And your pendulum swings back and forth. But I had never really seen Black women's pendulum swing to the other side, right? So if you asked me what was Black femininity to me, I would have told you Queen Latifah in the UNITY video. That would be Black femininity to me, because that's all I knew, right? So, and what was she? Strong. So when I thought of Black femininity and how I was conditioned to think about it, it had everything to do with Black women being strong, assertive, not on a spectrum. Like, Black women can be anything, right? But when I thought of Black femininity, it was this. It was Queen Latifah in the UNITY video. It was also MC Lyte, Roughneck. So this is what Black femininity was to me. Black women are strong. I didn't understand how dangerous that is, right? Up until being grown, about if you just think Black women are strong, then you can't process them in other things. And this has everything to do with what's going on in the WNBA, right? So even me, a dude that I made it my business to read Black women's literature, I made it my business to listen to the albums, I made it my business to see them as hoopers, you know what I'm saying, play against them, big them up. Even in my mind, I didn't have a point of reference for the other side of what Black women are, like their womanhood, and how it has a spectrum and how it has range. Because where I was from, and in hip hop, it was one look. Black women are strong. Now that ideal is baked into the way we see America about Black women in all of their endeavors. Don't worry, she's good, she's strong. And that very much comes from James Marion Sims, because he also thought Black women were strong, as he's operating on Black women with no anesthesia. And for those that don't know, this is the father of gynecology, right? So he's operating on his, I don't like to call them slaves because they're human beings, right? But he has these female humans that are his slaves, and he can participate. He can operate on them any way that he wants, because not only is a slave not human, but they're Black and they don't feel. They don't feel things, right? Now, what did I tell you that I grew up thinking about? Black women are strong. Oh, she got it. She's good. Even a Black woman crying. Bitch, shut up that crying. Stop being emotional. And let me say this. When black men are, because I'm sure I've done it too without even knowing, because we don't even understand that we are born into history, born into a narrative, right? And things are the way they are, and we don't know how they got like this, but we don't understand when we're saying, oh, black women are masculine, right? What does that mean? What are we trying to say? Right. And how are they able to tap into that energy? Right. And in the larger context, what does that mean as a whole of how people are treated? Right. Because I've never heard a white woman being in her masculine energy. I've never heard that in my life. Right. Why is that important? You have Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart has the ability to fly around the whole damn planet. But when history talks about her, I'm sure there were men that didn't understand it because they didn't see a woman do some great shit like this. But Amelia Earhart is never looked at as being in her masculine energy, right? Sharon Stone can play a cowboy, right? In The Quick and the Dead. She's a gunslinger, right? But she still has this sexy element about with her, right? When the guys watch her in the film, they still want to sleep with her. They don't look at her as being in her masculine, and she's cold with that pistol, right? She can. The white woman is able to be anything, right? But she's still not considered primarily strong. She can play a strong role, right, in a film. But the narrative around the white woman is not that she's strong. Oh, she's a good actor, right? Marilyn Monroe. What's the difference between Lori Harvey and Marilyn Monroe? Marilyn Monroe was sleeping with women's husbands. All good, right? All good, right? Marilyn Monroe is not looked at as America's first popular whore, first popular hoe. Nah. What's the difference between her and Lori Harvey? Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, Joe DiMaggio. I mean, she was making her rounds, right? Was she in her masculine when she was having different boyfriends? No. When a black woman does this, though, she's in her masculine because the black woman is strong. But guess what? Check it out. No matter if the white woman is flying planes, toting guns in film, sleeping with women's husbands, at the end of the day, she always still needs to be saved. When we're looking at Caitlin Clark, was so ill to me that even though she's competing, sweating, running, jumping, banging boards, everything, talking shit, femininity is still applied to her, though. That she cannot be hurt. She needs to be saved. And I thought that was ill because you even have black male commentators coming to her aid. Oh, y'all just jealous of her. This bitch is getting $20 million. She aight, right? When Draymond Green hits a person with an elbow, ain't nobody trying to save the person that he hit. It's part of the sport. Yeah, it's a dirty play, but it's part of the sport. And everything you see in the NBA, the WNBA is also going to have that same spectrum. You're going to have an enforcer. You're going to have a scorer. You're going to have a playmaker. You're going to have a rebounder. You're going to have a six-man. Everything that exists in the NBA is also going to exist in the WNBA, right? So if an enforcer pushes Caitlin Clark to the ground, what's the issue? It's these new people have never, they don't know what to do with women in sports, A. B, it's the black woman being strong, right? C, It's the white woman falling to the ground. And even myself, as a 40-year-old dude, I don't have a point of reference of what it looks like for white women to suffer. Hold up. Let's unpack that. I am 40. Yes, I've heard Scott Peterson. Yes, I've heard like a dude do something to his wife or something like that. But as a whole, in my mind, globally, I don't have a point of reference of white women suffering as a group. I don't even know what that looks like. What does it look like for white women to suffer as a group? What does that look like? So when Caitlin Clark is pushed to the floor, something is triggered, and not just white men. Something is also triggered in black men at the same time. Oh my gosh, she's suffering. Those girls are jealous. I've seen dudes that used to play in the NBA. Oh man, they need to let her score, and they need to ref differently. But it's a white woman competing, and she's just a hooper. She's 22 years old. She's a hooper. But when she's falling to the ground, it triggers something. But that same trigger does not happen with Angel Reese when she was clotheslined to the ground. Right? Damn, I'm going to try to play something. They might give me the strike for it, but let me see. Let me see if they let me play it. Because it'll definitely, you'll see what I'm saying about when Angel Reese was clotheslined, right? I'm listening to what's surrounded, the commentary surrounding it, and it's very different. I just want you to hear this. Check this out. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Harris able to counter back. You're right, they did get a little tangled up.
A lot of emotion and intensity in this building right now.
Evans was looking for back-to-back sky threes. Mabry couldn't connect. Reese, another chance, blocked from behind by Nelson Adota. And Reese went down hard. Still down at the other end. Sun, meanwhile, have a 5-on-4. Harris takes advantage from long range. And Reese, they've got to find a way to get this play stopped as she emerges, but a little dazed here in the paint. And back in the play, they'll keep it rolling. Evans, quick drive, couldn't get the roll. More contact in the paint as Reese hits the deck again. And now they're going to review the last sequence. We're going to have a look at it here. Remember, this is after she went down initially. That was the first time she went down. And wasn't able to get back into the play defensively. Then the arm from Alyssa Thomas, like you said, could potentially be an upgrade on that sequence there.
Well, you see Angel Reese trying to come in. Oh, my goodness. She had her hand around Angel Reese's neck area. And Angel popped her head on the way down. I'm going to tell you something, though, Jason. Angel Reese is a Baltimore, Maryland native. She's had some of this stuff happen before. She's going to be fine. She's tough. She'll be able to overcome this. And Alyssa Thomas, a veteran, is trying to.
You heard? Super subtle. That's not a reach. When Caitlin went down on the ground, they didn't say that. They didn't say, oh, she from Iowa. Oh, man, she was, grew up on a farm. They was like, oh, shit, that's dirty. They ran to save her. What did he say? She grew up in Baltimore. She's what? Tough. Right? She's tough. Go back here, right? James Marion Sims. Right? James Marion Sims says what? And he don't believe that these women feel any pain. Right? He don't believe that. Let's read it. Hold on. I'm sure I got something on it. James Marion Sims, the father of modern gynecology, purchased black women slaves and used them as guinea pigs for his untested surgical experiments. He reportedly performed genital surgery on black women without anesthesia because, according to him, black women don't feel pain. Good book on this is this right here, Medical Bondage. Black women don't feel pain, right? That shit is baked into the society. That was in the 1800s. We grew up, even myself, looking at black women all the time as strong, right? So you carry that into the relationships too, right? So maybe, you can handle whatever I give to you. You can handle whatever I do, right? Even in our rap songs, I'm going to do what to the vagina? I'm going to do what? Now, rock and roll songs, even though you've seen how white dudes have sex, they can be very rough, right? There's BDSM in their culture, but how do we talk about engaging black women when we about to make love to them? I'm going to beat that shit up, right? I beat the up. We make songs about that shit. Now, every culture does rough sex. Every culture has people that are into different kinks. But in our culture, though, right, it's regular degular. That's the standard. And if I slow it down, even for the women, they've been so conditioned to have their shit beat that if you slow it down, your pipe ain't right. So even them have bought into it that this is how it is. It can't be no other way, right? That shit is baked into culture, in the music. I'm gonna beat it up. When the girls are talking, you hear Lipstick, not Lipstick Alley, but the thing with the show with Angela Yee, right? And the women are talking, and then she, they hook up with a guy. Number one, how big was it? Number two, did he beat it? Right? They never talk about the ambiance. They never talk about what happened beforehand. Man, we went out to eat, we went roller skating, or we went on a picnic, or we went to a concert, or we just listened to music, right? It's never nice and slow and soft. Never, right? Never. It's always, I'ma beat it, right? Even black women have grew up in a culture to hear these things about themselves of, I'm strong. You heard what dude said with Angel Reese when she fell. She tough. She'll be all right. She from B-More. She's been through this before. That wasn't what the white boy said about Caitlyn, right? Because I've been listening for days and days, getting different opinions, that even though that she's sweating, even though that she don't got her hair done and she's going to the floor and she's hooping, femininity is still granted to her. But what kind of femininity? Like, right? That it needs to be something that your femininity is something that needs to be protected. Now, me, as open-minded as I am, if you would have asked me before I did this video, before I thought about it, what is black femininity to me? I would have told you Queen Latifah, UNITY video. You put your hands on me again, I'll put your ass in handcuffs. Just a minute ago, you was a nerd and nobody ever heard of. Now you want to be hard. Please. You barely know your ABCs. If you would have asked me what black femininity is, I would have said, right, this is how I grew up, right? It's so ill how people talk, the gender conversations now. People skip right over the 90s. People skip over crack, right? People skip over, girls gangbanged. Like, girls was in the street. You know what I'm saying? Mary J. Blige and shit. What's the 411? Those aren't love ballads. Those are hard-ass songs with dudes rapping on them. We skip over the 90s like it didn't happen. Right? Some real corny-ass niggas got the microphone. The way that, oh, yeah, we like soft women. Since when do black men like soft women? When did that happen? I don't remember seeing that. The girls look like T-Boz. They look like Aaliyah. Aaliyah's a tomboy. T-Boz is a tomboy. Khadijah, living single, tomboy. You probably had one girly girl, right? Of what these people are talking about. I only know black women being rough. All up and down the East Coast, maybe somewhere in the South, ducked off. Maybe your reality is different. But when them drugs was on the street, and that music was on the street, black women was doing everything the guys were, right? That wouldn't be a problem if we was able to code switch, or if we were able to have two different ideals in our minds, meaning that T-Boz can be a tomboy, but then if she wants to mix it up, she can also wear a short skirt, right? And then you can see her as a mom. You know what I'm saying? The problem is we cannot hold space for the spectrum, right? And when you're looking at white femininity, it's hella different things, right? The white femininity, again, let's look at it again. Look at the range of white femininity. White femininity is Amelia Earhart. White femininity is Sharon Stone, right? A gunslinger. White femininity is Marilyn Monroe, a glorified whore, right? There is no narrative around Marilyn Monroe, how she slept with women's husbands. There's no narrative around her. Like she's trash or she's a bad person. But again, what's the difference between her and Lori Harvey? It's white femininity can go through these entire spectrums, but then at the same time be saved. And none of the spectrums that white women have went in history, never was a time where the white male said, I'm not gonna protect you. Oh, I see you coming down the street holding bags. I'm not gonna look out for you. Now, the white woman has experienced all spectrums, from the whore to the career woman, to the military woman, right? To the gunslinger. But there's still film about the male giving his life to protect her, right? So even if she's strong in The Quick and the Dead, right? Even if she's strong and a gunslinger, the moment where she wants to be this, she can. No problem. See, when you're dealing in black culture, if you come out like this, you have to stay there. You can't move through the spectrum. However you are, you have to stay there, because the minds of the people don't have the bandwidth for them to experience you in different things. So you have to be this all the time. But for white femininity, you don't. You could do this and then go right back and then go fly planes, right? And when you're done flying planes, you could go ahead and be a cowgirl. And if you fall on the ground, there's going to be a male there. Don't believe none of this red pill online shit. Let the white woman fall on the ground. You see it with Caitlyn. Look at how they wrap their arms around them. It's on autopilot. They don't even understand the historical shit that they're doing, right? And let's keep it a buck. White women's femininity is associated with how the white male has dominated other guys, right? A lot of the time when we're speaking about black women being masculine and them being feminine, that has a lot to do with, if we're going to play the patriarchy game, that has a lot to do with the males in your group. I mean, I didn't know that, right? Like white women's femininity doesn't exist independent of white men conquering. White women's femininity, the reason why they can be straight up sluts, and it's nothing, and somebody will marry them, right? Because the men in their group are the most violent, the most rich, are always looked at as the best philosophers, are always looked at as the best builders, are always looked at as the best businessmen. So what that does, it gives her a spectrum of what she can be. Because who gonna say anything? And that's only if we're playing the patriarchy game. In the patriarchy game, the white male has pushed harder than any male. And the trickle-down effect is his woman could be Amelia Earhart. She can be a cowgirl. She can be Marilyn Monroe, and she could always be, and also be Lois Lane. But for the black woman, the black woman is one thing, and that is strong. And that's why the conversation surrounding Angel Reese, even though Angel looks, if we're just talking about the production of femininity, let's look at it. If we're just talking about the production of femininity, Angel looks, I mean, you be the judge. So that's telling you right there that white femininity is not on the outside of them. It's baked into them just naturally. It's white femininity is not a look, because if you put these two together, the one on the left is going to get saved, because the one on the left is pegged to a male that has a different collective social status. Angel Reese was still, even according to black dudes, Angel Reese is the masculine one. But look how they look, though. The black male would consider the Angel Reese to be masculine. But look how they look. Look at Caitlin's jawline. Look. I'm just saying, look how they look. If we're looking at femininity as a production, the one on the right is banging, and I'm not even being biased, right? But unfortunately, she's only 22, but she was born in a society where the narrative to black women is that you're strong and you can't be anything else. But that's so unrealistic, because what person is one thing, right? What person is one thing? But when a lot of times when you hear black men describe their moms, or you describe your granny, or you describe your auntie, we don't say, yo, she's a dope ass scientist. You know what I'm saying? We don't say that, yo, she's a crazy inventor. She's ill. She's super smart. No, we say my mom was strong. I watched my mom work 2 jobs, come home. It's always my mom is strong. And it goes right back to James Marion Sims, the father of gynecology. Black women don't feel pain. Right? How does that bleed over into our intimate relationships, where if I'm in a relationship with a black woman, yes, dudes can be dumb as hell, but in our mind, yeah, you can take it. This is what I was born into. Oh, that ain't nothing. I ain't doing you that bad, right? Well, the white man, he's got domestic violence. I ain't doing none of that. But we don't look at what will lies piling up do, or what will little slick comments do, or how much can you take? Because after all, we're born in a culture that says you can take a lot. Right? It's in the medical, it's baked in academia that you can take a lot. You don't feel pain. You know what I'm saying? So when Caitlin Clark is pushed to the ground, and there's so many commentators, even black men. Oh, y'all jealous of her? You immediately wrap your arms around her because we don't have a point of reference of a white woman being hurt, right? The black women, what's wrapped around for black women is black women don't feel any pain. I don't even have a point of reference of a white woman in pain. Historically, what does it look like for white women to be in pain? What does it look like for white women to be uncomfortable? Oh, I'm scared, right? If you're looking at a Rosewood or you're looking at an Emmett Till, I'm afraid. I'm scared. And what American white men historically will do if they think that their mother is scared, or a white woman is scared, or their sister or their wife, even if it's a lie, burn a town down, right? Because her being scared has everything to do with him. Something is programmed in them, even if there's no sexual attraction, she can't be scared. She can't be uncomfortable. And if she is, I'm willing to crash out. Whereas we kind of expect our mom or auntie, black women kind of like be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Hence, black women are always in all the civil rights movements, social justice movements. A lot of it surrounding men, frontlining. You know what I'm saying? That shit is unheard of, especially when it's men on men clashing, right? But I don't think that black men would frontline for what black women go through in the medical field, in the hospitals. I don't think black men would frontline black women constant hysterectomies. Like, we don't think that's an issue, right? We don't even know about the black woman's body outside of sex, right? So it's interesting that the woman will front line for the black male for police brutality, any type of discrimination, a dude being wrongly convicted and sentenced to life, trying to get him out, right? But if it's anything addressing, we don't even know what black women go through outside of relationships. So how can the dudes frontline? They don't even know, because at the end of the day, you're strong, right? You're strong. You've all we know is black women are strong. Sojourner Truth was strong, right? When they talk about her story, you know what I'm saying? They talk about how many babies she lost, what she went strong, how strong she is, and how she persevered, right? We know Sojourner Truth for being what? Strong, brave, courageous, right? We know Harriet Tubman for what? Being strong. Some say this is a fabricated history. I don't know, right? But how I know Harriet, she's strong. She is what? Brave. She has courage to do what's necessary, right? She leads people to freedom, goes back to get them. Leads people to freedom, goes back to get them, right? So when we say that black women are masculine and we associate masculinity with assertiveness and we associate masculinity with ambition, it's interesting that we don't mind black women being masculine as long as we can use it. The problem comes in when we can't use it, because when we look at black women in American history, they're all quote masculine. You know what I'm saying? Sojourner Truth would be considered masculine. Harriet Tubman would be considered masculine. Sister Soldier was front line. She would be considered masculine. She would be considered strong. And do we have a problem with Black women being strong? Do we have a problem with Black women being masculine? Because we kind of pick and choose. Like when we can use it, when it works for us, it's like, do that shit, right? Do we have a problem with Angela Davis being masculine? Do we have a problem? Like, is it a problem? Because if it's a problem, then when they go do it on our behalf, tell them to sit down. We can't pick and choose because that's like throwing it in their face. But at the end of the day, why would we ever think that throwing it in their face is wrong? Because James Marion Sims said, Black women don't feel no pain. So even when the male child is hurting his mom, it's baked into the culture that Black women don't hurt. And you're strong. So what's the problem, mama? Right? What's the issue? You know what I'm saying? So if you're going back and forth to jail, mama got to put her house up. All right, mama, I ain't going to do it no more. Boo, 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 boo. Like, we can't even visibly see the stress that we're putting on melanated women because in our mind, she can carry a heavy load, right? So even if Black women look, now let's just the optics, even if Black women look more feminine than a white woman, Black women are still not considered soft. Because remember what the dude said. He said she's from B-more. She's tough. This is the same person that got clotheslined though, right? So even if a Black woman looks just on the 3D, right, the performative part, even if Black women look more feminine than white women, Black women are still not considered soft. That's because white women's femininity is not on the outside of them. It's automatically baked into whiteness. You being a white woman automatically makes you feminine. And it's pegged to the status of white males. So just like the world assumes when the white guy comes around, he's smart. His credit is good, right? Listen how Black men talk about white women, right? Even though in public they display otherwise because they're on a spectrum, right? So the Black man never says the white woman is a career woman. The Black man never says that white women coach sports. They never say Black women are white women are financial advisors. They never say white women are economists. They never say white women are in the same hold the same position that men often hold. No, what does the Black man say? White women are submissive. That's baked into his mind. So even if she pulled the pistols out, still white women are submissive. Even if he she spits, still white women are submissive, right? Even if she cuts him, still white women are submissive, right? Even though historically, white women have called the cavalry on Black men for them whistling, right? And they go to their deathbed knowing that they're lying. The Black male still doesn't look at the white woman as masculine. He doesn't look at her as strong. Tulsi Gabbard, Hillary Clinton, Sarah Palin, the Black male still doesn't see that. He still sees her as feminine. That is crazy. He still don't look at the white woman as strong. Hillary Clinton, Benghazi. Hillary Clinton, Haiti. Hillary Clinton, super predator, don't matter. The white woman is not strong. Sarah Palin, governors, right? Women that shoot shotguns and drink scotch straight. In the black male mind, still, because being a white woman automatically it means femininity. And this ideal in a lot of melanated men's heads is that's just how she is. And, when I'm going to get her by myself, she's going to be soft. No, this is how they have sex with these niggas and get right up and leave. And the male can't, right? The scene in Insecure, when Lawrence has sex with the two white chicks, right? And how they was able to cut that off real quick. Because in black culture, we live below the waist. So we put a lot of stock on sex. Well, it's emotional. People do that shit for recreation. It means everything to us, right? And when you looked at that scene in Insecure, is very interesting when Lawrence had the two white chicks and he's, they immediately shut that down. It don't matter how big his joint is. It don't matter how only black women get caught up on the size of the black male dong. White women use that for recreation and playtime, right? It's a lot of black dudes that been with white women, right? Can't get none out of them. Like, unless they're like real poor white women, can't get none out of them. Can't get them to do shit. But she gonna have sex with you, right? And black women think that's everything, right? Because there's this cultural connection. But for white women, it's like, I scratched an itch, cool, go on about my day. Because it's nothing, right? And the fact she can do that, she can be as nasty in that space, and then guess what? Still go right back to being saved by Superman, right? She can be Marilyn Monroe with you. She can be a gunslinger. She can be Amelia Earhart and go right to this, right? But if the black woman shows up as Angela Davis, if the black woman shows up as Sister Soldier, if she shows up as Harriet Tubman, if she shows up as Sojourner Truth, the black male's going to say, you're too masculine. And that's all she'll ever be, right? So for me, I found the personal development of like, damn, anytime I can check my own mind of how even myself views the world, like, damn, when I think of black femininity, I think of Queen Latifah and UNITY. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Diane Carroll. I think Queen Latifah. I think MC Lyte. And there's nothing wrong with black women showing up like that. The wrong thing is from the observer to think that's all black women can be. Strong. That's it. And when she cries, it's like, what the fuck are you crying for? She's a human, right? They're, seeing black women on the human wheel of, you could have a tomboy, you could be a tomboy, you could be a career chick, you could be, a life coach, you could be a fisher, you know what I'm saying? You could be a hoe, you can be a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, you could be a scientist, you can do all those things, right? And the more important thing is, sadly, even in 2024, black women haven't even experienced the full range on what femininity could be. And I'm just talking about it in the regular context. And the reason for that is because the male that the black woman is tethered to hasn't pushed far enough among men. And if we're talking about hegemon and regular patriarchy, unfortunately, Black women's femininity is tethered to what Black men do with other men. We know this because the spectrum that white women get to exist in their femininity has everything to do with what the white male has done with other men. And it's going to be like that until you have a structural collapse to where Black women can be whatever they want and it's not associated with anybody. But unfortunately, socially, unfortunately, Black women's femininity is tethered to what the Black male does with Asian men, with Arab men, with Mexican men. And that sucks because, man, how dope would it be to fly planes and be a gun toter and Mr. President, right? And then at the end of the day, you can exist in all those spaces and the dudes in your group, oh, I'll save you. Like, that's very comforting, right? So even myself, as open-minded as I thought I was, when I thought about Black femininity, it didn't actually go past what the tomboy was in hip hop. So in putting this together, I taught myself, and I had a different outlook. And I hope you did as well. If I can help you in having a different outlook, if I can help you get from A to Z better in your thinking, if you're looking for an accountability partner, I'm the man for the job. Go ahead and put yourself on my calendar. If I can help you get heaven on earth, I would love to. So go ahead and put yourself on the calendar and scan the link. And remember, if you got to put your hands up to fight, if you got to go back and forth in any type of combat physically, you already lost because real warfare is fought from the neck up. So much respect to you. Even if you wish me the opposite, sooner or later we'll all see who the prophet is.